A couple of people, really.
George and his team didn't return to the hotel till 7 a.m. For the rest of the day, his crew lounged around the pool, but by 5 p.m., George still hadn't surfaced, and the unenviable task of waking him up was left to manager Frank.
So what mood do you reckon George might be in?
Oh, he'd be dead grumpy. Really grumpy. First thing he's probably going to shout at me, get me a coffee. And fuck off. Bye-bye. Do you want anything?
Coffee would be nice.
George, I've already been here half an hour ago. Fuck off.
At 6 p.m., George finally came downstairs, but he refused to be filmed.
Can you stop filming me now? Please. Get lost.
It was a pattern that continued back in London. For the remaining 3 weeks leading up to his community service, George went underground and all contact was severed. Meanwhile, the world's press geared up for another episode in George's high-profile battle with drugs. At the height of his heroin addiction in 1986, the media descended on both George and his family, plunging them all into turmoil.
The beasts were kind of ripping the carcass apart and everything. It really felt like that at the time. It was quite an unpleasant thing.
But the media frenzy reached fever pitch when, in his absence, the body of fellow musician Michael Radetzky was discovered in George's North London home.
I phoned his mum. I said, I'm totally sorry about what happened. But then, of course, there was allegations made against Georgie that he injected him and all this crap.
If you're surrounded by people that are dying in your flat, that is news. You will be investigated by the police. You know, there's no two ways about it. And everything started going wrong after that, I'd say.
George O'Dowd has been charged with possession of heroin. He will be bailed to appear at Marylebone Magistrates Court on Tuesday, the 29th of July.
At his trial, George pleaded guilty to the dubious charge of past possession of heroin. He received a £250 fine and a criminal record.
The reason I was charged was because of Fleet Street. That is why I've been charged. The judge made that quite clear. The reason I was charged today, I was never caught in possession of heroin. I was charged because of Fleet Street. Thank you, Fleet Street. So now they've got what they wanted.
20 years later, allegations of George's drug-taking would once again serve him up to the world's press. On the 14th of August 2006, the media gathered in force outside New York's Department of Sanitation, awaiting his arrival.
I really do feel empty, numb. Don't know, you know, it's a mystery, and I don't know what's going to happen, and go.
At his trial, George had been led to believe that his community service would take place in the relative peace of a New York park. That morning, rumors were rife that it would instead take place on the streets of Manhattan.
Well, if they do make me work in the streets, then they're just doing it to get media, which is just bollocks, isn't it? But I don't think they will be doing that, but we'll see. If they're going to make you do it in a sort of really open public place, it just means that it's just about making it like a which and do without their help. So do I get out of here, yeah? Yep.
At 7 a.m., George went inside to learn the true location of his community service. Half an hour later, he emerged. It was going to happen on the streets of New York.
I don't care, but it's just embarrassing what's happening. You fucking chasing me around, fuck off.
We coach you on that?
Excuse me. Thank you. Appreciate it.
The media vehicles chased George across town to the supposed secret location, but scores more reporters were already waiting, and he was thrust into the hands of the press.
Well, you think there's something wrong with sweeping the street? You're the one sweeping the street. Yeah, you're the one following me sweep the streets. What do you think of all this media? Who needs to get a fucking life beyond you? You think you're better than me?
I didn't say that. I'm just asking your thoughts.
My mum was a cleaner, my dad was a builder, you know what I mean? I don't give a fuck, now go home.
Day one of George's community service descended into farce. He was pulled off the streets for safety reasons and would ironically spend the rest of the day cleaning the sanitation department.